Record to the iCloud. All right, so let's go and look. I know I had some students online and in my 12:30 class that were having some problems with the turtles. So even if you have posted something before class, then you'll get full credit if you go in and correct it after we do class. But I just want to see that you have uploaded something where you worked on it before class instead of just waiting for class. But if you work through it together with us today, then you can get partial credit, just not full credit if you haven't previously uploaded something. Okay, and also let me go here to Canvas first, and because I want to show you in case you haven't noticed where I put the announcement this morning. So we can kind of schedule out the rest of the semester because we are getting close to the end. This is the tentative schedule. This next test 3, the date will not change. I was going to try and do it this Wednesday, which is the end of 12 weeks, but I don't think we'll quite be ready. So we'll probably start on chapter 6 by Monday, but we won't have the test till Wednesday, test 3, which will not cover chapter 6. It'll cover just loops and functions. Yeah, okay, I'll go over what's on the test a little more next Monday. But here's the schedule. So test 3, and the reason I'm doing it this far ahead, because remember, you can't miss this test or else you get a 0 and you have to take the final. So if you've already missed one of those tests, one or two, then you sure don't want to miss this one because the final can only replace one. So you have 2 regular tests left. Test 3 will be November 13th, and it will cover what we're covering in the turtles. And then I'm going to give you you'll see out there, I'll talk about it, is the project, which is just like what the test will be like, only a different problem. Remember, I always give you something like that before the test. And that will be due a week from today, and we'll go over it in class. And then Wednesday, the 13th, we'll have the test. And then our calendar is kind of weird this year because of Thanksgiving coming so late. You know, it's the 28th. It's usually the week before. So we will have, after this test, let me make sure I probably have all this junk on my calendar, but okay, so the test will be here, and then we'll have all this week before Thanksgiving week. And so I'll probably introduce Unit 6 here. I'll open it up here in the next day or two for you to be able to get to in MindTap, but it won't be on the test that is here. This test will only be what we're covering in loops and functions. And then we'll have 1 week after, let's see, 2 weeks. Yeah, 1 week after Thanksgiving, only 1 full week after Thanksgiving. So that means we're going to have only 2.5 weeks on Unit 6, which is arrays. All right, so that's why I'm making sure with loops, because arrays won't be as difficult if you really understand loops. And our finals week starts in the middle of the week, which is December 11th. So that week, this is our last regular class meeting, December the 9th. But I didn't want to give test 4 then because it is like a final. So December 11th, if you have another final scheduled then at 9:30 in the morning, you need to let me know, because that's when I want to schedule test 4. Which is like a final. But then if you have to take the final exam because you've missed a test, you'll come to me and we'll schedule it individually, because finals actually goes through the 17th. It doesn't start on a Monday like it used to and go through Friday. It starts on a Wednesday and goes through the next Tuesday. So it's kind of odd. But so I didn't want, I'm trying to get everybody out of here before this week, except for I have to come anyway. But I know, it gets close to Christmas and it's hard to, you'd want to be finished. So Anyway, I have those dates up here in the schedule. And so if you have some questions about it, let me know. I just wanted to get them scheduled ahead so that you can plan on, you know, for sure being here those days so that you don't miss the test. Now, remember, even if you're sick or whatever on tests 3 and 4, I still do it that way because it's too hard to reschedule those tests. Any questions about those dates? Okay, so now we want to go to our loops problem. Let me get right here. And I'll read it first. And this is the one that I'm going to, that is open now. That's the project 3. That's like test 3. Okay, so, but this has a lot of it in there too. So in this one, which I did go over, you're to complete the code with the 2 loops, and the output should look like nested loops output.png. What some students had trouble on online understanding is that I wanted you to submit 2 Python scripts. One where you first do it without a function, because you should be able to make it run that way even if you don't understand the function portion, and then pull out a portion to put into a function. All right, so let's see. So we had an outer loop and an inner loop. Oh, let me just go to here. I'll just go to some. We'll do a couple of them. Caitlin said she had hers, and Jamie, Sam.
Right, I did have a question.
Okay.
Is it like the thing that you gave us? Is it supposed to run by itself the way it is?
No, because it's missing the loops in there. So it wasn't going to be able to do the drawing of the dotted diagram because the loops aren't there. You see what I'm saying? Why did it work without it? No.
No, I was just.
You thought it would.
Yeah.
No, I put a comment like it does in MindTap for you, exactly where you were supposed to put code.
Right.
And it should have worked that way. Okay, so if...
So, for the inner loop, did you put, like, did we have to put the whole inner loop into a function, or just the body of that inner loop into a function?
You could put just the body of it if you
that's
wanted
what I
to.
did.
Yeah, you could do it. Just so I wanted to see that you knew how to call a function, create a function and call a function. That's the main purpose of that. Okay, so we'll look at how many different ones there are. Let me go back to where that is. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I thought I did it that way, but no, that's not it. I was already where I was supposed to be, I think. Oops. Let me see. 9:30. Sure where this is. Oh, this isn't test. This is homework. Okay, this is it. Brendan did his. Ty did one. Zachary. We can go through several. I mean, you can tell me if they're different. We'll look at Caitlin's. See how she did it. Okay, so she did the 2, like I said. So I'm going to download it. Where'd it go? 19. Okay. So this one is your one with no function, right?
Yeah, number 1.
Okay. So let's open it with idle so we can see it big. Okay, so here, did you have to change anything from the comments, where the comments were? Oh, yeah, you just didn't put it up there where it was. Yeah, her actual inner loop is right here, so we could say here like that.
sorry.
That's all right. No, I just wanted to show where it would work, where that one was. That was the inner loop. So she used 2 for loops, because that's what I told you to do, right? Put the 2 loops. So some people could, yeah, you could use the while loop if it made more sense. All right, so let's see if it works. This one is without a function. There he goes. Okay, good. So in this one, she has her inner loop here, her outer loop here. And so I ask you to create then a function to do the same thing. So you only had to create the loop portion. The body of the loop was already coded for you. Okay, so this one, you took out, oops, ooh, my page went weird. Okay, so where's your call? Oops. Oh, there it is. Okay, so she took the whole, you know, John was asking if you just had to do the body of the loop. Caitlin did her whole inner loop as a call. So right after it enters into where it's doing the height, it's going to jump up here and it's going to stay in this function 1 loop until it finishes the inner loop, and then it'll drop down here. And so it'll do that however many columns there are. So now here's something that I had students ask me, because you'll notice that these constants were actually declared down here in the main part of the program, and she didn't change them up here because Python allows you to do that. Python doesn't require you to declare them as global, but other languages will. So in this one, she didn't have to do that. So there it goes. It's going to do the same thing, which is what we wanted, only this time it used a function. So this makes it where this little function could be used to do other things. You could create a turtle outer loop that did something different, but did this in the inner loop, right? So anybody have any questions? See, her call, she didn't have to pass anything, although she could have passed width up to here. If it was another language, you would have to do that, and you would have to pass dot distance, because those variables are used in the function, right? Remember how we've been having to pass them? Right, is there anybody, everybody remember? Okay, so good job. All right, so let me look at, Jamie, did you do yours exactly the same? It was? Okay, so anybody did, oh, John, you said you did yours a little different, right?
Yeah, that's still the same thing.
But you just pulled the, it's 4 loops? Okay. Did anybody do theirs different? Anybody? Who did it? Zachary did it. Ty, Brendan, is yours the same? Okay. All right, Zachary.
Mine didn't work correctly. I used a nested for loop inside of another one, and it was like rotated wrong. So
Okay, let's see. Where's your, let me find it.
It went to the side like this.
yeah, it was like it was rotated to the left.
Yeah, I did that when I first typed it.
Okay, so you only did the first one because you couldn't get it to work right. Okay, so yeah, you guys that are did not upload one, if you at least upload one that works, figured out since we've done it, you saw their loops, then you'll get a partial credit. And Zachary, if you correct yours and put it up there, you get full credit because you did it ahead of time too. Okay. So let's see if we can figure out what's happening on yours. Did any of you guys have trouble with it? Well, let's run it once and then I'll know what he's saying. Okay. Oh, his inner loop doesn't work, right? Is that which one it is? Did anybody ever have that trouble?
Did he switch the consoles?
Let's see. Okay, you put the outer loop. Oh, you actually put numbers in there. You really changed it up a lot, didn't you? Trying to make it work. Yeah. Okay, so up here, I'm not sure why yours wouldn't work. The for loop should actually be right here, and for W amount in range should be height. The outer loop should be the height, right? You guys that did it. Okay, you changed all this too, didn't you? Let me see if I've still got one open. No. Okay, here's one that worked. Okay, so I'm gonna look at this one so I can get the, okay, so in the outer loop, you're supposed to have this right here. So the outer loop will come right below the inner loop and be tabbed in. So it should be right there. That's your outer loop. Okay, and this must be where you put your inner loop, wasn't it? Is this your inner loop? What you tried to be your inner loop anyway?
Well, I don't think you actually even have to switch that around. If you just switch the height and width, because you had it the other way around, it should have just worked.
But he didn't have, he had a range set up here though instead of width.
Yeah, I know, but like.
Oh, you think his would have worked? Okay, let's see. Let me go back. Yes.
Yeah, I just figured it out. I switched a bunch of stuff up.
It worked? Okay, so let me see if I can do it without saving how yours was. So did you upload it again? And let's look at it. Yeah, and let's look at what you did. Did it come up yet? Let's see. I don't know if Ryan's on here. I need to see. Oh yeah, he is. I bet. Okay, let's see if I can get it now. They may make me go out. Nested loop redo. There it is. See, he's in chat. Let me see here. I did 2 things converse. Is that okay? Oh, Ryan, yes, that's okay. I see your text. I'll download yours. We'll look at yours too, Ryan. He's online here. Okay, so this is the different one right here. Show me Finder. Okay, with this one, so what'd you change around, Zachary? You changed, okay, here's your outer loop, or what? Yeah, your outer loop is here. Your inner loop is here. So you just did it at the back, but you changed, you had to change even the structure, right?
Yeah.
Because look, his is printing the dot out there first. So now you can probably figure out how to do yours with the function, right? Now that you got it to work. So instead of putting the height and width in his range, he put it in that backward one. So that's what made his go really weird. Because his inner loop is after his outer loop, so that doesn't make as good a sense. So it comes down and it does this over and over. This is really not an inner loop. How does it ever get to this? Oh yeah, it does. It does this first. That's what it does. Okay, so the way the rest of ours was done, let me open that other one again, like this one. Okay, so the way this one is, okay, it starts the for loop, the outer for loop, and it sets the range, but then it goes right into the inner loop, whereas his goes ahead and does this one time and then starts the inner loop. So that he had to change, he changed where the comments were. See, so he didn't use the comments up there. That's why I was trying to help y'all know where to put them. And if you didn't get them to work. Okay, Ryan, he wanted, let's look, he said he used 2 functions. So let's see what his did. Let me go back to the grade book and he's in the 1230 class. Oh, I bet I didn't do that right. I didn't mean to do that. Go over here to where that one is, turtle. There it is. Uh-oh, I did too. I have no clue why it came out of the grade book. Okay. Turtle, nested loops. I don't know what that did. I must have told it the wrong speed grader. There it is. Okay, so here's your one with no function. The one, though, you're talking about that's different would be with a function. So let's look at it. Oh, I put 930 class. Oh, well. Okay, show and finder. Okay, so he defined a height function and a width function. And so, oh, come on. So the main part of his program, look how short it is by using functions. And that's what our whole goal is with functions, is we want our main to actually be just kind of like a outline of what our whole program is going to do. So the main program starts there. He defines his constants, and then he says, Leo, pin up. Well, actually, the main program starts here where you import and create an instance of the turtle. Then it skips both the functions, comes down here, creates the constants, executes this pin up, then 4x in range height. So here he does pass like what we've been learning to do in functions, is because all other languages makes you do that. So he used an X here and then range height. So he passes, but you should have for it to accept it. I don't know why it didn't give you an error, because you didn't pass it into the function, but it didn't. I think that it didn't actually, I bet it would do the same thing even if you took this out, because it's just using those constants. It's using them from being defined here. Let me see. No, it didn't. it say for X? Range expected 1 argument, got 0. So he did have to put them in there, but you should have had to put them here too. I'm not really sure. You should have had to pass for X in range height, and it says you're passing.
And here is this telling himself what loop he was in when he did the concept.
Okay, down here. Oh, I see. Oh, I'm looking at it wrong. Yeah, that's the range. Sorry, Ryan, if you're listening to me. Here's, I thought you were passing height and width here. I was looking at the wrong thing, at the range. So yours worked the same way as theirs. You just did two functions, which makes it a little easier to see what's going on, because here's our outer loop that's going to perform the height, and here's our inner loop that's going to do the width. So then if you know that, then you don't have to know what the detail is, and you can pull it out. Does anybody have questions? Everybody understand about the functions now? Okay. So, oh, allergies really bad this weekend. Okay. Whew. Thank you. So this one then was the one that if you just submit what I gave you today, you'll get the points, partial points, but those who submitted previously get full points. Okay, so now let's look at the one that we actually, I would rather do it on Wednesday, but I knew that wasn't going to give y'all the time to work on it, because I always make your due date on Monday. So I'll probably go ahead and open up Unit 6 too, but this one is what your test number 3 will be like. Which I know some of you would be ready for the test on Wednesday and some would not. So that's why I waited. Let's see, where did that go? Fundamentals. I think it's under projects, maybe. Oh no, I put it in here. Okay. You should be able to open it now as a document. It's called Homework HW Nested Loops Function. And then when you open that document, here's what it looks like. And it says Project 3 at the top, right? And it's worth 25 points. So see, it's worth more than any of the other homeworks. Now, this is the problem. And you've been, did we do a t-shirt one last time? I think we did. Did we do? Okay, so this is your first time with the t-shirts. Okay, so the RSC bookstore is having a 3-day sale during which the price of any unsold t-shirt drops 15% each day. For example, if the original cost of the t-shirt is $15 on the first day, then it costs 15% less, or $12.75 on the second day. And on the third day, the same item is 15% less of that, of $12.75, which is $10.84. So you design a Python script that will input 5 different t-shirt prices. Output is the original price of each item first day, discounted on day 2, and discounted on day 3, and then print the original price and the price on the second and third days. And then I give you what the output is to look like when you finish. The output should look like this. You're going to print original t-shirt price, $15, day 2, $12.75, day 3, $10.84. And then I tell you down here at the bottom to use 17.25 as the second input, $25 is the third input, $19.99 is the fourth, $16.85, and then when you put $9.99, that caused it to end. Okay, so we remember in the textbook we had an outer loop always in our template that controls how many times you're going to actually go through the program, right? So we're going to do it for 5 t-shirt prices. Therefore, do not put any of these values up here as an input. You're going to ask for input, remember? So if we look at our template from MindTap, let me go in there so that we can kind of see how this works. Because I give you the steps here to build it. I say ask the user to input the price. So that's going to be our priming input, right? The one that gives us some input before we ever enter our outer loop. Then the outer loop is you're to use a loop to request each input. This will be the outer loop. Use a while loop and ask the user to enter 999 to end. Use a nested for loop to print the 3 prices for each discount for each t-shirt price that the user inputs. So with this one, this will be part of the body of the outer loop, and it'll be an inner loop. So you are to use a function, and it depends on whether you just use it for the detail loop or if you want to do like what's in our MindTap. Let me show you. Let's go back to where Cengage is. Okay, right here. So we're going to look at these, this template. If I get sign in here. So what the idea here by me giving this to you today is that if you at least look at it before Wednesday and you have questions before it has to be turned in on Monday, because if you look at it, I've given you all a due date of 9:30 in the morning on Monday because I want it turned, since I'm giving you a whole week, I want it turned in before class to get credit for it. Oh, I don't know why I did that. Okay, let's see, it might have. Okay, so down here, when we looked at the template for, okay, this one is going to have a input where you're looking for 999. So it's actually an indefinite loop. I just set it up as definite just so you would know exactly what inputs to put in. But it's really because you're triggering the end of the loop with a 999, then it's actually called an indefinite loop. So you could actually keep entering t-shirt prices until they enter 999. I gave you those 5 inputs so that you would know if it was working right, because it should look just like that output. So here's the, I think this is the one that has the nested. Yeah, when we did the quiz sheet, okay, the quiz sheet was the same thing. The housekeeping went over and asked for input, right? So you don't have to do a function here. You can just say input t-shirt price, right? And 999 to end. So that's what would come first. Then you would enter this outer loop, which is going to test the t-shirt, original t-shirt price for what? What triggers the end? 999, right? Yeah, it is going to go 5 times, but we actually are saying when they enter 999, so you can have a constant up here called quit like they did, but they didn't actually, yeah, set to 999, right? You can have that if you want to, or you can just say when t-shirt price is the same as 999, then you know that you're ready to stop. You're not going to do this inner loop. So this inner loop is the one that's going to calculate and print out the 3 t-shirt prices, right? So this loop right here is where you're going to go in, and this one actually has 2 more loops, right? You don't have to have 2 more loops. You'll just have the 1 loop right here. Okay, does that give you a little bit of a help? Y'all understand what we're doing there? So if you look at your quiz program, your quiz sheet, I think I also did the payroll one. Let's look at that one. That might be a good example too. Find it where, I think I did it in the, maybe up here. Okay, so it was, no, that's the one that we did just, I gave a whole thing on the mind tap problems. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Where did I put that payroll? I did payroll for one class. I just gotta remember where it is. That one doesn't have it either. This one has the quiz sheet though. Maybe it's in here. 12. Nope. Payroll. Okay, I'll just do it here. Payroll. .py. Okay, here it is. Okay, let's open this one up. Let's see what this looks like. I think this is, okay, this one is one that doesn't have the function in it or the outer, so this one wasn't the one that I was thinking. I know that I told some class, that was September. Wow, that one's really old. September 9th of 2019. No, that's not it. Okay, so let me go back into, I wanted to just find some more examples. Like if we go, let's go to the very end here of this chapter, and we're going to work through one right now. Let's see. Exercises. So one with a nested loop. Oops, I don't want to review. Oh, here's one that was like the large and small design that allows you to enter numbers until the user enters 0. Display the numbers, the sum of the numbers entered. Okay, I'm gonna look at one of, I've got the flow chart. Because the more we do, if you guys will work it with me, it will help you to understand how to do that project. So I'm going to go to, why do I not have it? Okay, so, oh, there they are. Okay, I think. There they are. Okay, this is chapter 5. Come on, open that. Okay. So one of these problems, I find one that's a little more simple. This one has the detail loop. Does not actually have a nested loop. So here's one. No, that's that high-low one. That doesn't have a nested loop either. So those are the ones that were, this one does. Okay, so in this problem it says design an application for Bob's Easy Loans. The application accepts a client's loan amount and monthly payment amount. Output the customer's loan balance each month until the loan is paid off. So here they're going to have to do something to the loan amount. They're going to have to subtract the payment amount each time, right? So that's kind of what you're doing with the t-shirts. You're going to subtract the 15% and then print out that balance, right? So that's similar to this. So what they did, this one doesn't actually have the outer loop because I think it does it this in part B. Let me see. No. Okay, so this one isn't contingent on, because it only has one loan amount come in. So if I was going to code this one, so in this flow chart, which you may not can see, let me see if I can make it. When I did that, it went away, didn't it? Housekeeping detail loop. There it is. Okay, so let me make this view a little bigger so y'all can see it. View, zoom. Okay, so in this problem, they've made these declarations, which remember in Python, we don't always have to do that. They're going to ask for or actually balance is going to be calculated each time. Then they're going to also print out the month. The loan amount is what you're going to ask for input and the payment amount. So you're going to say enter the loan amount and payment amount. So that's what's done in housekeeping, the very first one. And so then it goes straight into, so it's got the loan amount and the payment amount. So this one does not have an outer loop because it's just going to run one time, right? Right? Okay, so this one comes in and the detail is the next step. And so if we look at the detail function, oops, it's over here. It says detail, month is equal to 1. So it's going to, it wants you to calculate the payment amount and the balance after they make a payment each month. So if any of you have loans, that's what they do, right? You make a payment and it gives you your balance. You make another payment, seems like it doesn't go down any at all, right? And so, depend on your interest. So month equals 1, balance equals the loan amount. So to start out with, balance is going to be your original loan amount. So when you start out with the t-shirts, you're going to have the original price that you've just read in, right? Right, follow? So then we go down here and we're going to test, is balance greater than 0? Because that what they're assuming is that by the end of, as soon as the balance is equal to 0, you can't make any more payments, right? That's what this one is contingent upon, is when you've subtracted the payments until there's no balance amount, which was the original loan amount. So you go here and say balance is equal to balance minus payment amount, output the month and the balance. And then remember, in order to go through there again, you've got to increment month to 2. You come back up and you say, what is balance now? Is it still greater than 0? Yes, it is. Then I'm going to subtract another payment amount. So at the end, when balance is to 0, then you're ready to return. And when you return back to the main program, it does finish up and it says output into program. Right? So you're going to have something like this except for your outer loop. See if I can find one that has, I know they do. This one may be the one with the outer loop. Nope. Okay, we're going to find one with an outer loop, I think. Flow chart. What was that one? Nope. Wow, I thought they had you modify one. So they're not having you do, that must have a nested loop somewhere else.
The shirt prices, are we going to be doing with the list?
Here we go. Here's the one. Okay. What do you mean with the list?
Because it's 5 different prices.
No, you got to, no, you got to input them one at a time.
Yeah, but it's still a list.
No, we're not using arrays yet.
I don't know how to do it. Then.
Yeah, you'll be able to figure it out. I'll show you. Okay, so So like here, you're going to come in, if you canned it all, then you go ahead and use that, but you should be able to do it without a list. Because you read one in and
Well,
you
I'm trying
print
to
it
think
out
of it.
right then. What you do is you print it out right then instead of storing it in a list. Okay?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That help? Okay, so this is what your main flow chart should look like, but instead of number of stars, yours is going to say original t-shirt price, right? So when original price is the same as $9.99, then you're going to drop out. But as long as it's not equal to $9.99, then you're going to do the detail loop. And so this is your outer loop. So that last one that we saw in the turtles functions that Ryan showed us, and he showed us where he had an outer loop and then he called a function and then he had another loop and he called a function. That's basically what this is, but you don't have to do, I only required you to do one function. So you don't have to put your original input in a function. It's just up to you, because if you get used to, this is for every program is going to have this outer loop. Either it's going to be a counter controlled or it's going to be a sentinel controlled. And ours is a sentinel controlled, right? With our project, because it's all nines. So here in the detail loop, you're going to make your call over here. And this is where you're going to take the original t-shirt price and print it. Well, first you're going to test it to see if it's the third time through, right? So this one's going to be a counter controlled loop, because you know that this for loop is going to go through 3 times. So your outer loop really needs to be a while loop. I may have said do 2 for loops. I can't remember. While first. Okay. So this one should be a while loop because it's testing for a sentinel. This one should be a for loop because it's only going to go 3 times, right? So the first time through, if it's the first time through, you're going to print the original price, and then you're going to add one to your counter instead of input here, come back up, and then you're going to calculate the 15% taken from it. And at the very end of this loop, you have to input, wait, is there going to have to be 2? Because you want to go 3 times through with that one price, right? So there's going to have to be a nested loop here, because you're going to have to input the input of the price that you took here, the input of the price here. No, I'm wrong. Because you'll just ask for input again outside of this loop, but before you go to here again, right? See what I'm saying? Okay, so here you're testing for all 9s. Then you're going to go in this detail loop and you're going to print out the original price. You're going to go through, then you're going to calculate the second day price, come back up. I'm still not gone through 3 times. Actually, you go through 2 times. Dang, you may not go 3. But anyway, you can figure that out. And then you go here and you do the third day and you come back. And when you've done that 3 times, you're going to go back to here, and you need to ask for another input, right? The next t-shirt price. Enter another t-shirt price or $9.99 to quit. Because then it's going to come here and test that again. If it's still got another t-shirt price, it's going to go in here and do this loop until you've done 5, then it'll do $9.99. Then you enter $9.99 and come out. Does that help? You guys get a layout there of what it's supposed to be like?
Are you gonna end that or put that into the assignment so we can still see it later, or?
Oh, this flow chart? Okay,
Yeah.
it's a little different, but yeah, I can, it's a little different, but maybe it will help. Let's see. That's, you know what this one is? This is that one in MindCap, Hollywood Movie Rating Guide. Do you remember when you did that?
Yeah.
In MindTap? Let me see how they coded that in MindTap. Yeah, we got about 5 minutes. Let me go into the other part of Mind Tap and let's see. Because that's what this should be. Come on, come out of there. This is in Word.
So will we go over more on this next?
Yeah, I want you to look at it and see, because if you look at it, I'm not gonna solve it. We'll do some more of these kind of problems on Wednesday. And but if you've tried to start it, then you know whether you have some questions, and I'll answer questions on Wednesday, but we're not going to look at a completed one until next Monday at 9:30. Okay, because I want to see, that will tell you whether you understand loops, and that'll tell me, because before we go to Unit 6 arrays, you've got to understand nested loops, okay, or you'll have problems with lists. Okay, sometimes they're called lists sometimes in Python. Other languages call them arrays, but we haven't gotten to that yet. But loops are important, so I want to know whether you understand them, so you can work with somebody. If it helps you to understand, just be sure that you're getting it, okay, or you know what questions to ask. Okay, so this one, but I did want to look real quick in here and see. Okay, so this was the one on, would have been nested loops, I believe. It should be, or it may have been under accumulating totals. I can't remember which one was the movie one. Oh, actually, I don't even have to do it in there. I've got it right here. Chapter 5, because it was called the movie guide. Okay, let's look at this one. Yeah, this is it. See, it's that same one, only it's the Python to go along with, and so I can put that flow chart out there. But here is it only has an outer loop, doesn't it? Let's see. While number of stars. Yeah, while number of stars is greater than or equal to 0. Test for loop entry, accumulate the total, add 1 to number. Input. Okay, the outer loop, it just drops out and calculates the average. It said it was nested loops. No, nested loops nested loops was this one, where you did the asterisks. That's more like the turtle one. The turtle one that we did had the nested loop. So, but yeah, I can actually, I can give you all of those. Let me put that out there, that answer sheet for all of those that are at the end of the chapter. And then we'll go over some more of them and put them in. We'll take one of those and put it in Python next time. Let me see if I can find that and put it there. Is that it?
Also, some of my codes in the Mind Tap didn't run right, so should I just turn them in and have you look at them and give them?
Yeah. Okay, so this is chapter 5 solutions. Let's see, let me go back to, here it is. Here. Okay, so this is going to be, I'll put it right here in module 3. And it's a file. It'll be a Word document. Okay, at the item. Now let me make sure, probably put it down at the bottom. Yes. Okay, this is all those solutions that only have like, it'll have the problem at the end of that's at the end of the chapter that we were looking at, and I'll have the flow chart and the pseudocode, okay, for those. So we can go back on Wednesday and look at some more of these, okay? And go through them. So everybody get their loop function in there by tonight, I think is don't I have it by midnight tonight?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't, I'm getting
Which one?
the first one, the one that you're just supposed to be two photos.
Oh, the turtles one? Okay, we'll look at it. Well, I'll let everybody go. As that class wasn't out here the other day. Okay, let me end this. Anybody else have any questions? Oh my goodness, I think I did. No, I did do it. Oh, good.